And direct your attention to the video board as David BC Carl's going to lead us through tonight's champs of the match. New Mexico United, never stops us. We are ready for 3 points tonight against Indy 11. I'll get my friend Andrew here. Kind of believe in 2 days in our champ of the match. Andrew, what are we doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is our version of the Icelandic Viking clap. Everybody, hands up.
It's East versus West here tonight in Week 28 of the USL Championship as New Mexico United hosting Indy 11 here at the Lab for the first time in club history. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Tyler Ortega, joined as always by Chris Hurst. To my right, we have our Spanish language broadcast team, Manny Esquivel and David Estrada. ¿Cómo estás, hermanos?
Gracias, Tyler. Gracias, Chris. Gracias, David. El día de hoy, United necesita sí o sí los 3 puntos y nos espera un tremendo partido, David.
Sí, ya estamos al fin de la temporada y se ocupan los 3 puntos.
Lo que se nos viene no se lo puede perder.
Now, Chris, New Mexico coming into this one on the wrong side of the playoff line. They're looking to pick things back up following a tough defeat in Birmingham. It was Nico Brett being assisted by the other former player, Preston Tabordataka, that saw Birmingham Legion move past New Mexico on last Sunday. And so work to do here. The black and yellow want to keep these playoff hopes alive.
Yeah, it's soccer's a cruel game at times. It was almost like it was always going to be Preston Tabordataka and Nico Brett who put that nail kind of in the coffin a little bit for New Mexico United. But like you said, New Mexico 4 points outside the playoffs right now on the back of 2 1-0 losses versus East Coast opposition. Chasing Colorado Switchbacks looks like the most likely of anyone with 4 points ahead of them. It's not necessarily do or die for New Mexico United, but it's getting to that point. They need to put a run together, kind of like what Phoenix Rising have done the last few weeks, where they've put a little run together of 3-4 games unbeaten here. And New Mexico United need to do something similar, and they hope that it starts tonight against the Indy 11 team whose playoff is not secured completely. And after 13 days rest and on the back of a 1-0 win versus Miami, they're on good form.
Plenty more to get into here. Let's dive deeper into the matchup here with our players to watch, presented by Toyota. Go ahead and take it away, guys.
Así es, vamos a hablar de este jugador sudamericano, Sebastián Gensati. David, solamente en esta temporada lleva 9 goles, 4 asistencias. Es un jugador multifuncional que te puede jugar tanto de delantero como en ambos costados, siempre buscando el gol, buscando atacar. Y bueno, pues, ¿qué decir de un atacante que acaba de regresar de El Salvador, David? Háblanos un poquito más de Armando Moreno.
Sí, ya lo conocemos de nuestro número 10, el jugador que si asiste o mete gol, tal vez nos da la victoria casi seguro. Entonces necesitamos que Armando Moreno venga con esa misma fuego que ha tenido últimos meses y ocupamos que nos dé una asistencia, un gol esta noche.
Así es, y bueno, hay un entrenador que nos conoce bien y el juego, créame, lo que va a estar demasiado bueno. No le cambie.
Thank you, guys. Now, New Mexico unbeaten in their only previous matchup against Indy 11. That happening just last May. So they'll look to keep that unbeaten streak alive here. The 2023 New Mexico United season is presented by Sandia Resort and Casino. Close to home, far from ordinary. We'll be back on the other side of this with lineups and kickoff.
out the NB3 Foundation at www.nb3foundation.org. Fans, tonight's flag is being run in by kids from La Roca Soccer Club. We want to acknowledge that we gather at Rio Grande Credit Union Field on the traditional land of the Tiwa people. We honor with gratitude the land of New Mexico and the people who have stewarded it throughout the generations. This calls us to commit to continuing to learn how to be better stewards of the land we inhabit as well. We stand in solidarity with them. Fans, here are the officials for tonight's match. Tonight's referee is Brad Jensen. The assistant referees are Seth Barton and William Ayton. Fourth official tonight is Mario Garcia. Fans, here's the starting lineup for the visiting Indy 11. In goal, number 1, Tim Trilk. A defender, number 4, Michak Jerome. A defender, number 15, Adrian Dispe. A defender, number 22, Robbie Dambrot. A midfielder, number 6, Cam Lindley. A midfielder, number 7, Sebastian Velasquez. A midfielder, number 8, Jack Blake. A midfielder, number 25, Byram Rebellon. A forward, number 13, Sebastian Gianzatti. A forward, number 20, Solomon Asante. And a forward, number 29, Stefano Pino. Indy 11 is coached by Mark Lowry.
Sundays after the game. Presented by Southwest
All right. Check, check, mic check. I've only got my audio in my right, but that's okay. Check, 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 mic check. Yep, sounding good.
I can hear you.
Cool. Go again, Chris.
Check, check, mic check.
My audio's a little bit loud now. Check, 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 check. Both, actually. Okay, check, 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 check. Okay, that's a lot better there. Check, check.
Check, mic check. Check.
All right, fans, get up on your feet, get loud, get those flags in the air for your New Mexico United. Here's the starting lineup for your New Mexico United. In goal, number 26, Andrew.
Número 4, defensor y capitán, Sam.
A defender, number 5, Josh.
Número 16, defensor, Will.
A defender, number 22, Kaylin.
Número 7, mediocampista, Sergio.
A midfielder, number 8, Nikki.
Número 19, mediocampista, Zico.
A midfielder, number 43, Justin.
Número 10, delantero, Amando.
And a forward, number 49, Schneider. Your New Mexico United is coached by Eric Krill. New Mexico United is joined on field by kids from La Roca Soccer Club.
Fans, please rise for tonight's national anthem. Performing the national anthem is New Mexican music legend, Al Hurricane Jr. And Godson is performing tomorrow night at 7:30 at Sandia Amphitheater in celebration of 16 de septiembre, Mexican Independence Day. Put your hands together for Al Hurricane Jr.
Oh, say, can you see
It's East versus West here tonight in Week 28 of the USL Championship as New Mexico United hosting Indy 11 here at the Lab for the first time in club history. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Tyler Ortega, joined as always by Chris Hurst. To my right, we have our Spanish language broadcast team, Manny Esquivel and David Estrada. ¿Cómo estás, hermanos?
Gracias, Tyler. Gracias, Chris. Gracias, David. El día de hoy, United necesita sí o sí los 3 puntos y nos espera un tremendo partido, David.
Sí, ya estamos al fin de la temporada y se ocupan los 3 puntos.
Lo que se nos viene no se lo puede perder.
Now, Chris, New Mexico coming into this one on the wrong side of the playoff line. They're looking to pick things back up following a tough defeat in Birmingham. It was Nico Brett being assisted by the other former player, Preston Tabordataka, that saw Birmingham Legion move past New Mexico on last Sunday. And so work to do here. The black and yellow want to keep these playoff hopes alive.
Yeah, it's soccer's a cruel game at times. It was almost like it was always going to be Preston Tabordataka and Nico Brett who put that nail kind of in the coffin a little bit for New Mexico United. But like you said, New Mexico 4 points outside the playoffs right now on the back of 2 1-0 losses versus East Coast opposition. Chasing Colorado Switchbacks looks like the most likely of anyone with 4 points ahead of them. It's not necessarily do or die for New Mexico United, but it's getting to that point. They need to put a run together, kind of like what Phoenix Rising have done the last few weeks, where they've put a little run together of 3-4 games unbeaten here. And New Mexico United need to do something similar, and they hope that it starts tonight against the Indy 11 team whose playoff is not secured completely. And after 13 days rest and on the back of a 1-0 win versus Miami, they're on good form.
Plenty more to get into here. Let's dive deeper into the matchup here with our players to watch, presented by Toyota. Go ahead and take it away, guys.
Así es, vamos a hablar de este jugador sudamericano, Sebastián Gensati. David, solamente en esta temporada lleva 9 goles, 4 asistencias. Es un jugador multifuncional que te puede jugar tanto de delantero como en ambos costados, siempre buscando el gol, buscando atacar. Y bueno, pues, ¿qué decir de un atacante que acaba de regresar de El Salvador, David? Háblanos un poquito más de Armando Moreno.
Sí, ya lo conocemos de nuestro número 10, el jugador que si asiste o mete gol, tal vez nos da la victoria casi seguro. Entonces necesitamos que Armando Moreno venga con esa misma fuego que ha tenido los últimos meses y ocupamos que nos dé una asistencia, un gol esta noche.
Así es, y bueno, hay un entrenador que nos conoce bien y el juego, créame, lo que va a estar demasiado bueno. No le cambie.
Thank you, guys. Now, New Mexico unbeaten in their only previous matchup against Indy 11. That happening just last May. So they'll look to keep that unbeaten streak alive here. The 2023 New Mexico United season is presented by Sandia Resort and Casino. Close to home, far from ordinary. We'll be back on the other side of this with lineups and kickoff.
So much has changed in the 5 years since New Mexico United took the pitch for the first time in 2019. But since then, one constant has been the incredible support and financial guidance of REDW. Our partnership has grown stronger and closer together as the club continues to excite, inspire, and help connect the people of New Mexico. REDW will be with us every step of the way. Everything we do on the pitch and in the community is powered by the strategic thinking and expertise of the advisors at REDW. With an eye on longevity, shared values, and purpose, United and REDW will continue to team up and make meaningful contributions for all New Mexicans. Somos Unidos.
I landed my first trick at age 11. It's always been a family thing. Just the 3 of us, out skating the city. Albuquerque has heart. It lifted me up, all the way to my dream of skating in the Olympics.
The estimated hold time is now 96 minutes.
Sorry, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, please hold.
here at the Lab. Kickoff just moments away between New Mexico United and Indy 11. Tyler Ortega here alongside Chris Hurst. And Chris, the delay has come and it's gone, and it's time for some Friday night football.
Yeah, and what a game. Huge implications tonight, especially for New Mexico United, but a big game for Indy 11 as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see how both teams line up straight out of the gate here.
Brad Jensen is our official. He's the man in the middle here tonight, and the visitors get us started as New Mexico United, as we touched on, Chris, coming into this one in 10th place in the Western Conference, sitting on 33 points through their 28 matches so far. And as we said, looking on the outside, looking in from this playoff picture.
Yeah, and you spoke about it in the pregame as well, about Colorado Switchbacks occupying that last playoff spot. And obviously there's a big game, the other game tonight in the USL Championship, Orange County against Colorado Switchbacks. Everybody of New Mexico United and the New Mexico United fan base will be keeping half an eye on that game as well, I imagine.
Is Andrew Thomas getting the start here tonight for New Mexico. He's come in pretty much on a whim here, making just his third start for the club as the mainstay Alex Tambakis suffering a broken hand that we saw here just a few weeks ago. I believe that was against Charleston Battery. Or the match before that, actually. As we're underway here. This is the first trip to the Lab for Indy 11. Only one meeting so far between these two sides. That taking place last May 28th. It was a 2-1 win for New Mexico. This is Suggs. And so, Chris, kickoff delayed about an hour here tonight due to some weather in the area. We saw the tarp being pulled out to cover the part of the pitch, and then it was removed, and players came out, fans still sticking around. As a coach, as a player, what is a delay like this due to, obviously not only your warm-up routine, but your mentality?
Oh, I mean, you can see that the timing of everything's thrown off, right, as well. It's not just the players on the field as well. Our timing's a little off as well, I would say, right? It's a little weird, but as a player, they'd got about 10, maybe 15 minutes into a warm-up before the lightning, and what a storm it was that rolled through as well, by the way. It was pretty epic, but short-lived, luckily, so not too much of a delay. And I think that was the key, because you worry that maybe if it was any longer, maybe the fans might head home, late night for the kids, things like that. But because it was a relatively short one, and there was a pretty good buzz around the stadium, looks like the majority of fans have stuck around.
Tonight's match brought to you by Manal School, providing top-tier education to New Mexico and beyond. This will be a throw-in for the black and yellow. In New Mexico, Chris, we touched on it just a little bit in the pregame. They struggled on Sunday against Birmingham.
Yeah, it wasn't a pretty watch, really, was it? It was a bit of an onslaught from Birmingham. I think, it was something like 18, 20 shots to 8. The XG, which I know is a very subjective number, but an XG of 2.6 for Birmingham versus a 0.55 for New Mexico United kind of tells the story with only their 8 shots. Both teams only managed 4 on target. So Birmingham, while they were creating a lot of chances in inverted commas, didn't necessarily test the New Mexico United keeper too much.
Flag stays down for Bailey. Zico Bailey rips the first shot on goal here in the 4th minute. And this is our first Bank of America corner kick of the evening. With over 4,600 locations, convenient banking just around the corner. And Chris, looked like a goal might have been just around the corner. As we have a quick look at our starting lineups here tonight, presented by Bud Light. For Eric Quill, we see 3 changes. Nicky Hernandez, Mondo Moreno, and Schneider Borgelin getting the start here tonight. Moreno and Borgelin, of course, back from international duty. As Portillo gets ready to put this one in here for New Mexico. It's the outswinger. Played out to the top of the box. Hernandez. He's unable to get that on frame. The decision is a goal kick.
You can see that was something that was worked on from the training ground. Definitely designed play. Nicky Hernandez wide open at the top, and it took a little nick on the way through, asking for a corner, but I do believe it actually went off Sergio Rivas, I believe, on the way through here. So just on the way through, it takes a little deflection, but you can see Portillo definitely looking for that on this slick surface. Nicky Hernandez did really well to keep that down and keep it under control.
Replays tonight brought to you by TLC Plumbing. They're the leader in New Mexico when it comes to plumbing, heating, and cooling, home and business service needs. Indy sitting in 6th place in the Eastern Conference coming into tonight's match. 41 points through their 2023 campaign so far. And Chris, while this is a team that, or a club I should say, that has never been to the lab before, we look at the collection of players here, and not even then, you look at the touchline, Mark Lowry, all of these players have experience playing against New Mexico just over the past couple of seasons. Here comes New Mexico on the break, advantage played. It's Sergio Rivas. It's going to be a throw-in. That's going to give us time for our 5:29 game update, brought to you by the Education Plan. New Mexico state-sponsored 529 plan. Give your kids a better and brighter future. Learn more at theeducationplan.com. But like we were saying, Chris, there's a number, obviously, of former El Paso Locomotive players. You see some former Oakland Roots, switchbacks, and then Phoenix, San Antonio. So a lot of familiar faces here tonight with Indy 11 back at the lab. Yeah, and obviously Mark Lowry's experience within the Western Conference. You know, he's obviously come across a lot of these players and brought them to Indy with himself. And you know, Velasquez, we saw the last time, I believe it was the last game that Lowry coached for El Paso up here at the lab, and Velasquez had just signed, I want to say, for El Paso around that time, or maybe a month or so earlier, but he ran the show that evening. So some really experienced. Asante as well, you know, from Phoenix Rising. A lot of New Mexico United fans will be very familiar with him. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun here tonight, and honestly, grateful that we're able to play this one. There was a moment, as we mentioned, where the weather was causing a delay. The flag goes up at the last moment as Suggs thought he was onto something there, Chris. And it was. He just went a little early. He was probably 2-3 yards offside. AR was a little late on it, so it gave everyone a little bit of hope. But I tell you what, it's been a very bright start to the game. This is a look at the visitors' 11. 2 changes from the last time they took the field. Brian Rebellon, Stefano Pino getting the start here tonight, both out of necessity. Aiden Quinn missing due to injury. Budani missing due to suspension. Early pressure here being applied by New Mexico in the 8th minute. Dispe able to get it forward. Dambrot links up with Jack Blake, the former San Diego Loyal man. Blake Loyal for the past couple of seasons, spent 2020 and 2019 at Real Monarchs, where he and Kalen Ryden actually were teammates back in 2019 and USL Cup champions that season. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw a jersey swap after the match tonight. This is Dambrot in space. Cross goes in, and it's cleared out by Will Seymour. Quick look at our Garcia Automotive Group keys to the game for New Mexico. Lock down Sebastian Guenzati, get Mando Moreno involved early, and attack quickly through Thomas's outlets. Quick look at our Ben Sherman Law injury report. Injured at work, Ben Sherman can help, and Chris, the 3 usual suspects, I should say. Christian Nava still coming back from the torn ACL. Chris Wehan still working his way back from the fractured kneecap. And as we saw, Alex Tambakis suffering a hand injury a few weeks ago. It's good to see that list get a little smaller, though, because there was a point where there was barely enough room for New Mexico United players on that list. So, and an early goal for Indy, and they were saying just moments ago they needed to contain Sebastian Guenzati, and who else? As Guenzati, the captain, scores his 10th of the season, and just like that, Mark Lowry's men go up here at the lap. First chance Indy 11 have had. First shot on target they've had. First shot they've had, actually, and it's
and it's a goal. And you got to say, last week against Birmingham Legion, New Mexico United appeared to have a little bit of trouble dealing with set pieces. There was a couple of corners, especially in that first half, where they really struggled to deal with the first ball. You see, it's just kind of gets in between two players there. Not sure if it's Kalen Ryden, doesn't necessarily step. He's zonal marking there, and he just finds that little crease and he just improvises. He's falling backwards towards the goal and he just improvises, just flicks a toe at it. Instinctive finish there.
What a finish. What an absolute beauty of a finish from Sebastian Guenzati, and that's exactly what he does. New Mexico looking to answer quickly here. Here's Nicky Hernandez. Hernandez has his shot attempt blocked. It's going to fall to Bailey on the far side. Bailey has that taken right off his feet by Lindley. And this one, Chris, it's getting interesting here just 10 minutes in.
Yeah, do you think both teams were ready to come out of the locker room after sitting for a little bit extra? But the energy that's being put into the first 10 minutes here, really, really entertaining game. Like I said, New Mexico United have started very, very brightly. I say playing a little differently to what we've seen more recently, where they've been playing in a low to mid block and trying to pick teams off on the counter-attack, being very, very aggressive in the press, playing on the front foot, trying to play forwards early and creating some decent chances early on. Just haven't been able to take one so far. Indy looking very, very dangerous on the break as well, though, with those flying outside backs, especially on this left-hand side here.
Guenzati, the former Tampa Bay Rowdies man, scored 22 goals for Rowdies in 2021. Last season added 7 more in 33 appearances. Here's Moreno. Back from international duty is Amando Moreno. Up to 12 caps now for the El Salvadorian national team. Here's Hernandez, lays it off for Suggs. And speaking of back from international duty, Schneider Borgelin back for New Mexico as well. Hernandez to Moreno, off the crossbar. Or off the post, excuse me, in New Mexico, Chris, looking for a quick answer.
We always say, you know, the first 5 minutes after you score for Indy 11, very dangerous time, caught napping a little bit there. Moreno, very, very unlucky. How much New Mexico United missed him last weekend against Birmingham Legion, while away on international duty with El Salvador. Again, another opportunity for New Mexico, knocking on the door here.
Amando Moreno, the leading scorer for this New Mexico side this season, 9 goals. He's up to 23 in his New Mexico United career. Hernandez draws the foul, and this is going to be a Fiesta Auto free kick. So PNM Coaches Spotlight, Eric Quill, the third gaffer in New Mexico United history. Just 9 games in. We might have to double check that. It's Eric Quill. He's been here since the start of, since about the middle of June, I want to say. About the last 3 months. And he's been able to bring in some new players, Chris, and you can see just a different sort of style for New Mexico going forward. And goes over everyone's head, and it's going to be a goal kick here for Trilk.
Yeah, it was another dangerous ball in there. Justin Portillo, you know, leads the assist table for New Mexico United along with Sergio Rivas. But and you can see why when he puts set pieces in like that, the corners, free kicks, anything, any dead ball situation, and Justin Portillo is on them.
The other half of our PNM Coaches Spotlight, Mark Lowry, 4th head coach in Indy 11 history, the former El Paso head coach. Been with Indy the past couple of seasons. New Mexico United fans very familiar with Mark Lowry, as mentioned, leading El Paso through their first 3 seasons. And New Mexico and El Paso facing very similar starts. And this, what a turn from Dambrot. He gets in. And at the last second coming in, I believe that was Kalen Ryden to deal with the danger, but not out of trouble yet.
Got to say, this is going to be an issue that Sam Hamilton, Josh Suggs on the other side, they're going to have to deal with all day. Indy 11 set up in a 4-4-2 diamond. Blake and Asante, the two wider guys within that diamond, playing very, very narrow. Lindsay just at the back of that diamond, and Velasquez at the point of it. But outnumbered in midfield, New Mexico United, and the outside backs, especially, like I said a little earlier, Dambrot is absolutely flying up and down that wing right now. It's going to be really interesting to see if he can maintain that for the whole game, but he's been a handful for Sam Hamilton and Zico Bailey on this right-hand side so far.
Robbie Dambrot, 6'2", out of Akron, Ohio. Former Pittsburgh Riverhounds man. 5 appearances for Riverhounds during last season. And then he's at Lushak Jerome there for the interception. Finds Sevi Velasquez. Velasquez now feeds it to Blake, the Englishman. Jack Blake leading the attack. Finds Pino. Here's the Brazilian. That one falls to Blake. And I don't know if that was deflected. I believe it might have been.
That all came from a little break in communication. Moreno and Rivas, I think it was, weren't quite on the same page there. And again, that counter-attack from Indy 11 just looks absolutely terrifying right now for New Mexico United. Had numbers. There was one point there were 3v2, 3v3. The 2 centre forwards for Indy 11 just posted up against the 2 centre backs in New Mexico United, Ryden and Seymour, and just flying at them right now. New Mexico United not quite sure how to handle that midfield battle. There's always an extra man to play to as they outnumber New Mexico United in there right now.
Bank of America corner kick coming up here for Indy. Cleared away by New Mexico. Blake, second ball in, also dealt with. Fans of Moray Neapolitan Pizzeria says thank you for 10 amazing years as New Mexico's first and only certified pizzerias. It's the Nottingham, England native Jack Blake. Rebeon connects with Solomon Asante. Ball looking for Pino, headed away by Seymour. Balls to Velasquez. Velasquez still in possession. Velasquez tried to poke one through, and that one blasted over by Cam Lindley. Stretching out the leg a little bit there after having a go. Hispanic Heritage Night here at the Lab, and it's great to see another strong showing by the New Mexico United faithful. We saw a legend in New Mexican music, Al Hurricane Jr., sing the national anthem here tonight, and so despite the weather delay, the Lab's still in good spirits.
Yeah, and despite the goal as well. Like,
yeah.
You can sometimes, you know, when the opposition score here at the Lab, you can sometimes hear the atmosphere just getting sucked out of the stadium. And so the fans are in great voice still, so fair play to them, let's say, with the delay, the early goal for Indy as well. But they're sticking with it, and there's still a good buzz around the stadium. I think they can see that New Mexico United have come out on the front foot and are really having a go.
You know, and I think they might be just happy at the fact that the weather is not trying to kill them here today, as it has been in the 70s here in Albuquerque over the past about 3-4 days, whereas over the last month or so, been dealing with record highs in over 100. And you know, you and I were talking about it. We were here just 2 weeks ago, and the high was 98 degrees that day. It is completely different.
Yeah, I feel like we skipped a bit. We've gone straight from the middle of summer to the middle of fall, and I tell you what, I am not complaining for a second. I'm sure the players aren't either. It's a beautiful evening to play football.
You can see 67 degrees here at the Lab right now. Humidity, that's incredible seeing the humidity numbers that high for us here, but you get a little bit of rain over a few days, that'll do that.
I'm sure people in Indianapolis are like, wait, that's not humidity.
That's right. Thanks for hanging out with us here at the Lab. Tyler Ortega, Chris Hurst on the call. so knowing that this is the first time Indy 11 have played here at the Lab, I'm sure there's a number of supporters watching this back home that are wondering what on earth is going on down there in the 20th minute. No, they're not cheering for a spell of possession. This is what's called the Magic Minute. This is a tradition that happens at every single New Mexico United match. This goes all the way back to the club's inception back in 2019. And so once the clock hits 19 minutes, 12 seconds, that signifies the year that New Mexico was recognized as a state in 1912. The crowd will start cheering. They'll cheer until the 20-minute, 19-second mark. And that's to signify when New Mexico United kicked a ball. And so, again, it's called the Magic Minute. It's a tradition that happens at every single New Mexico United match, and it was actually an idea brought forth and employed by the first ever head coach in New Mexico United history, Troy Lasing.
Yeah, it wasn't celebrating the throw-in. just to be clear. I tell you could see just in there while that was going on, while they were explaining what was going on, Guenzati again, like just little deft touches that he's got around the 18-yard box, and just manages to turn the corner, just gets away from a little bit, but he's looking very, very tricky tonight. It's, defensively, Indy 11 look like they drop into a 4-5-1. Guenzati, he drops into the midfield to help out, and then as soon as they win possession, they break into that 4-4-2 diamond. And again, like I say, it's so hard for New Mexico United to get the numbers right now.
Bank of America corner kick coming up here for the black and yellow. Mondo Moreno able to win the corner. Searching for an answer here. 22 minutes in. He's headed away. Look like Dispe climbing the ladder to make the clearance. Here's Nicky Hernandez, Texas native. Nice communication there between Zico Bailey and look like Justin Portillo, and this is not good if you're a New Mexico United supporter, as Kalen Ryden is down, and a quick throw in here from Indy 11. Pino into the box. He's double teamed, and he's got no support here. As Ryden hobbling back. As it looks like Kalen Ryden, his night might be done early here, Chris.
Coach Quill is absolutely livid as well, and Lowry's apologising, I think, because Indy 11 saw a quick throw in as well and took it, and like I said, Pino was away to the races, and there's been words said on the sideline, and I would imagine that even though that's a free kick to Indy, I would imagine that they potentially give the ball back to New Mexico United or something in the spirit of the game, because there's lots of questions and lots of questions being asked right now.
And there's Kalen Ryden coming up to the official. That's Brad Jensen, our referee here tonight. Our assistant referees, Seth Barton and William Ayton. Our fourth official, Mario Garcia. And so Ryden, there's a noticeable limp. We'll see how long he can continue. And we know Kalen Ryden doesn't just come off for anything.
No, and it did. It looked like it was either his knee or his hamstring. I couldn't tell while he was lying on the ground, but he only got up because Indy 11 did not stop playing. The ball was dead, and the referee did not stop play. But not only that, then Indy 11, and this is resulting from that. If they score from this, there is going to be some very unhappy people on the sideline down there.
Lindley plays this ball in back post. Hamilton wins the initial header. Borgelin wins the second. It's going to be a throw in here for Indy. We've got a second. We'll tell you about Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Here's Velasquez. 4 black and yellow jerseys around Sebi Velasquez there in the 18. Off of Borgelin's chest. Here's Rivas now looking to link up with Moreno. Dispe was able to break it up for the moment, and there's Solomon Asante. Connects with Guenzati, and Guenzati goes down, and that's going to be a penalty. Indy looking to go up 2-0 here early in this first half.
I think that was, again, Caelan Ryden not able to move as freely as what he normally would because he's carrying that injury from earlier on. I mean, it's either a penalty or a 9.9 in the Olympics. I think he saw the contact coming. He put both feet together. There he puts both feet together. I'm not saying there's not contact, but in my opinion, I think he invited the contact. I think he could have skipped past that and actually got a shot on goal, in my own humble opinion.
So Brad Jensen, our official here tonight, has decided it is a penalty, and so we'll see who actually takes the penalty. Cam Lindley currently with the ball at the spot. And this is usually a little bit of mind games there, as Guenzati will step up on a brace. Is Sebastian Guenzati. Uruguayan. Guenzati already finding the back of the net here in the 10th minute tonight. Can he make it 2? Or is Andrew Thomas up to the task? Sebastian Guenzati looking to put Indy up 2-0. Oh, and what a save from Andrew Thomas!
I think justice was done there purely because of the incident that happened leading up to when New Mexico United couldn't clear their lines because of the quick throw in when Caelan Ryden was down injured. Questionable foul again. I think he invited the contact. And I think now all the New Mexico United players are unhappy because he stopped the play because of an injury and he didn't stop the play for Caelan Ryden. So you can completely understand the frustration from the players. He's absolutely, he's got to get a grip on this, unfortunately, the man in the middle.
Yellow card shown, it looked like, to Justin Portillo. But let's go back to that Andrew Thomas save moments ago.
What a save.
Massive save for Andrew Thomas.
You could sense that could be a huge moment, not just in this game, but in the season. He anticipated, he guessed the right way, and he gets a little bit, you make your own luck, and he lands on the ball, but the fact that he went the right way, and it wasn't a good penalty. It was not a good penalty. It was a good yard and a half inside the post, which gives the keeper a chance, a decent height for the keeper as well. And Thomas took advantage of that and made a great save and kept his team in the game.
So Justin Portillo confirmed it. Yellow card. That yellow card brought to you by the guys at Ferguson Law Firm. So you can see there is Hernandez that made the challenge. You can tell it looked like Jack Blake. So this is what an opening half hour.
Oh, and he's given a free kick. He's not here to make friends, that's for sure.
And I think that caught everybody off guard.
I don't know if he saw it on the Jumbotron, I don't know if he saw it on the scoreboard and made the decision based on that. But, I mean, there was a couple. I just think Nicky Hernandez was lucky. Like, his tackle was way worse than the one that Justin Portillo got a yellow card for. Nicky Hernandez went flying into that tackle. And like I say, like, there's maybe a hint of, did he stand on him? Yeah, he did.
It was this one here, though.
But that's a bad tackle. So, I mean,
So after all of that, Fiesta Auto free kick. New Mexico able to deal with the danger initially. It falls to the Englishman, Jack Blake. Blake now draws the foul, and it's going to be another free kick.
And I think the captains for New Mexico United need to just get a hold of their players right now and Portillo is obviously one of those leaders on the field as well. Just get a hold of the players and just make sure that this doesn't bubble over, because clearly some frustration. Again, it goes back to that unsportsmanlike play early on from Indy 11. I'm actually shocked that that wasn't addressed internally on the field, like the players dealing with it. And then for this now it's like a crescendo, right? Like it's just boiled up to this point. But the captains on the field, Kellen Wright, Sam Hamilton, Josh Suggs, they need to get hold of the New Mexico United players and make sure that there's no further yellow cards or red cards, and giving away a lot of set pieces right now.
Delivery goes into the box, and this one right into the waiting arms of Andrew Thomas. Thomas on loan from Seattle Sounders in 15 MLS Next Pro appearances for Tacoma Defiance, had 3 clean sheets, 1.27 goals against average this season out there. Since coming to New Mexico, as we mentioned, only played in 2 matches so far. Coming into tonight's match, 4 saves, a couple of goals conceded, boasting a save percentage of near 67%. Small sample size, though.
Yeah, for sure. But and you know, you can see his distribution has made a big difference as well so far for New Mexico United. Like the game here against Charleston, even though it was a 1-0 loss, he was always looking for that release ball down the field early to try and break lines immediately and set New Mexico United onto a counter-attack.
All up in the air. It's punched away by Trilk. And Pino able to get a poke. So it falls to Solomon Asante. And, you know, you talk about somebody whose name we haven't said a ton over the opening half hour, and that's been Solomon Asante. But that's the thing, is he's such a good player. He may not pop up over, you know, the opening half hour, 60 minutes, but if you sleep on him for even 2 seconds, he's going to score.
Yeah, and there again, like Velasquez, he's just dropped just a little bit deeper just to try and pull the strings there. And again, just the way that Indy pop the ball around once they do get the foot on the ball. And again, the numbers, it's the numbers game in midfield. That's what they're winning right now. And yeah, Sante, he doesn't need 50 touches a game. He needs 3. And he's probably going to cause trouble with 2 of them.
Solomon Asante, part of the 50-50 club. 50 goals, 50 assists in the USL Championship play. He and his teammate, who's actually out tonight due to a knee injury, Aiden Quinn, both sitting at 104 goal involvements. Solomon Asante, 51 goals, 53 assists. That just tells you how dangerous of a player he is. Rivas. Sergio Rivas, the Albuquerque native, played 90 minutes against Birmingham Legion last Sunday. Moreno picked up a couple more caps for the El Salvadorian national team.
Borgelin really struggling to find his way in the game leading up to the riding incident and all the, I'm going to call it a kerfuffle. Let's call it that.
Yeah.
The 6 minutes there or whatever it was, but
fracas.
I'm not going down that road again. I tell you what, there was one moment where the ball got played into him. He really good hold of play. He posted up against Dispe and held the ball up and managed to bring, I think it was Nicky Hernandez into the game, or it was Zico Bailey, and then it just broke down when it was played into Moreno. But other than that, I'm really struggling to think of a moment where he's been able to do that target forward job for New Mexico United. They're really struggling to get him into the game right now.
Blake wins the header. Pino battling there with Seymour, and Seymour eventually gets the call from Brad Jensen. The Fiesta Auto free kick coming up. Mexico looking to push some bodies up the field here. Fans, don't miss a minute of the action in 2023. Whether your club is on the road or at home, catch nearly every second of USL Championship action right here on ESPN Plus, the home to the USL, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Sergio Rivas, second leading scorer for this New Mexico side this season at 6 goals. The Albuquerque native, 4 assists. Cross goes in from Suggs here, dealt with by Dispe.
Dispe's a big boy, isn't he? And he's just lapping those crosses up. That's 2 in a row from Suggs, where it'd be a decent ball if Borgelin could just peel off to the back post and maybe match up there and make it uncomfortable, look for a knockdown. But it's too comfortable for Dispe right now.
Bailey has his cross blocked, and it's going to be a throw in here for New Mexico.
I like that though, getting a little deeper, get closer to the end line and maybe pull a ball back hard and low across the 6-yard box. And that's when New Mexico United could be really dangerous.
There's Bailey, former San Antonio man. Still working against Velasquez. Velasquez right there showing you why he's had such a long career. You were talking about Dispe, Chris. Listed at 6'3". Listed at 6'3".
He's standing in a hole.
6'3", 190 out of Havana, Cuba. Starting his 23rd match here tonight this season. Hamilton finds Borgelin. And the big man sends that one wide.
Yeah, that was it though. He just managed to peel off. It was Jerome. He just managed to fade off his shoulder there and got towards the back post, and Portillo's got the ability to pick him out there, and you find that much space in within the 18-yard box, you've got to try and test the keeper.
For Schneider, Borgelin making his 5th start since joining the club here tonight. Coming into tonight, 9 shots, just 3 of those on goal in 387 minutes of play so far. Dispe will go back to Trilk. Tim Trilk out of Rockford, Illinois. And he's really stepped up with Yertle being out to injury. This ball going in, and Trilk comes in with the flying punch. Falls to Hernandez. Looked like Blake had a nibble there. Rivas. And that one, couldn't tell if it was deflected or just poorly struck.
He definitely did. You were saying there where Blake had a little nibble at Hernandez there, and Hernandez stayed on his feet. And this is the argument that all coaches have till the end of time. It's just because they don't go down, it's not less than a free kick. I guess played an advantage, and Hernandez found Rivas. What a touch by Rivas, by the way, because Hernandez absolutely pinged that ball at him. Just couldn't keep the chance down though. Couldn't keep the shot down.
Sante's touch finds the foot of Justin Portillo. Here's Suggs now. Suggs, what a cutback, looking for Hernandez there. Falls to Bailey. A step over from Zico Bailey, and Bailey doing his best, but eventually it's Indy that come into possession.
You see in the 11, they're just struggling to get out right now. New Mexico United, much higher press, and can you tell this game's important?
New Mexico coming in so far, they've captured 21 out of 42 points here at home. If you're doing the math, that is 50%. Asante plays this one out. Near side, Rebellon unable to track it down. He does actually. My apologies there. And Moreno fouled, and we're going to see a card coming out for that one.
That's as bad a tackle as what we saw earlier on as well, so no surprise the yellow card's coming out there. He knew exactly what he was doing. Armando Moreno, while there was still a long way to go, he was off to the races there, and in the 11 they'd committed a lot of guys forward at that moment. You see there, Moreno, just a little turn of pace there. Yeah, knew exactly what he was doing, stopped the attack.
So 39th minute, yellow card shown to Jack Blake, the Englishman. Brought to you by Ferguson Law Firm. When you've been fouled, call the guys at Ferguson Law Firm, New Mexico's leading personal injury attorneys for over 40 years. Through ball, looking for the El Salvadorian, Armando Moreno. There's not enough gas in the tank there for Armando Moreno to track that one down.
You see New Mexico United, like that front 5, it's pretty attacking what Coach Quill and the staff have put out there tonight. Borgelin, the spearhead with Rivas, Hernandez, Moreno, and Zico Bailey just flying behind him. And it's up to Portillo, and you can see Sam Hamilton put as a right back tonight. So you see it's basically 3 centre backs and Josh Suggs charged with not necessarily staying back because Sam Hamilton is getting forward, but trying to stay back and giving that solidity, hopefully, and allowing the 5 attacking players to do their thing.
Dambrot again. And Dambrot, that one's well over hit. 15th start tonight for Robbie Dambrot on the season. Making his 21st appearance. Ryden looks to be moving a little better at least. So it falls to Moreno. Great touch from Moreno. Still Moreno, and that one eventually poked away by Dispe. Now Hamilton. Hamilton finds Velasquez, but the follow-up, it's saved by Trilk.
Not only did he save it, but he pushes it away from danger as well.
Hamilton again. Will he try it another time? He does. It was Dispe that time. Well done there by Velasquez to hold off the larger Sam Hamilton. Blake now. Pino. And Suggs with the touch back to Thomas. Trilk again, coming out to grab this one is Nicky Hernandez has been involved a lot here through the opening 42 minutes.
Yeah, he's all energy right now as well, and it's not just, he's like the perfect player for New Mexico United because not only can he score, can he create, he's got that side, but he's also got that, just that workman-like graft. He just wants to work and doesn't mind putting in the hard yards as well.
There he is again, and just a miscommunication there with him and Rivas. Oh, and what a turn from the Brazilian Pino. Looking to find Guenzati with this ball. Guenzati goes back to Blake. Here's Lindley. Guenzati scored and had a penalty saved so far. Sante has that one stolen by Will Seymour. Seymour coming into tonight, 31 interceptions, that leads the team. What a touch from Borgelin, but the cross just not there.
He would like to see Borgelin just hold the ball up. He was aiming for Sergio Rivas, but really his only option, and Indy 11 had 2 guys back, plus the keeper to deal with it as well. Maybe just a little rush of blood to the head, a little shot of adrenaline after this little flick here. Impress the crowd, the little hoops and hollers from the crowd, but you can see Sergio Rivas asking for the ball, but it has to be absolutely perfect if he's going to pick him out, and just didn't quite have the quality there.
Shaq Jerome to Solomon Asante and Dispe.
Seeing New Mexico United just being disciplined in their shape, they're just waiting for their moment to step, and there it is there just to pick off that pass, and then they'll try and play forwards as quickly as they can.
Borgelin finds Hernandez. Hernandez, Rivas, and we're even here at the lab in the 44th minute. It's Sergio Rivas, 7th goal of the season for number 7, and New Mexico evens it up here with Indy.
That's how they drew it up. I had the pleasure of watching a session last week where just sitting in their shape, waiting for their moment to pick it off, and as soon as they won it, clinical there where Nicky Hernandez just slips the ball into Rivas. Doesn't need a touch, just slips it in the bottom corner. Great team goal. How to score in transition 101.
And you called that as it was happening, waiting for their moment to step. There it was. They're going to look to play the forwards now as quick as they can. Bang, bang, bang. Sergio Rivas in the back of the net. New Mexico United even. That goal brought to you by Enterprise Builders, built on a foundation of trust for over 30 years.
What a ball that was by Nicky Hernandez. The weight on it. And you can see the keeper's disappointed. He's disappointed there. He feels like he should have done better. I think it goes through his legs, through the wickets there. Just doesn't quite get his feet set. But again, how New Mexico drew it up. And you've got to say, on the balance of play, while Indy 11 have been very, very dangerous on the break, the balance of play, you've got to say, New Mexico United deserve to be at least tied right now.
Massive equalizer right before the stroke of halftime here at the Lab. Rivas, he's contributed to goals in his last 4 home matches. 3 goals, 1 assist for the Albuquerque native. We've got 2 minutes of New Mexico Piñon coffee stoppage time. Great coffee is a matter of opinion. Solomon Asante that's down. Former Phoenix Rising man, the Ghanaian.
See, leading up to the goal, Indy 11 were just trying to bait New Mexico United into coming out of their shape, and they were very disciplined. That 4 behind Borgelin, just so disciplined, just looking for that moment where a slight underhit pass or a bad touch. And it was Nicky Hernandez was the trigger. He was the one who made the decision to go, and the rest of his team followed, and it was Moreno who actually won the ball, but it was Hernandez who actually was the one that allowed everyone else to know that they were going.
New Mexico want another as Asante is judged to have gotten it clean. Moreno was furious, and he still is.
I think Asante just got frustrated. He felt because of the foul that happened to him about a minute ago and literally just kicked Moreno, and he got away with it.
Portillo. 4 assists this season for Justin Portillo. Flag stays down for Moreno. Moreno, what a turn. Eventually, Ishak Jerome able to deal with that, and that is the first half whistle here at the Lab, and what an entertaining first half that was. We saw a little bit of it all. We saw an opener from Guenzati in the 10th minute. We saw a penalty save from that man right there, Andrew Thomas, and then Sergio Rivas scoring his 7th goal of the season in the 44th minute. Chris, give us your thoughts.
Really entertaining first half, and the staff having words with the referee, full of incidents, both on and off the ball as well. So really entertaining half, and I'm sure the fans who stuck around through the weather delay have really enjoyed that first half.
It's halftime. Your score, New Mexico United 1, Indy 11-1, presented by First Financial. We'll step aside. We'll be back with halftime here at the Lab.
Since 1966, BIOS has provided quality appliances, electronics, and mattresses to Albuquerque and New Mexico.
And from day one, we've done everything as a team. Our commitment to our team, our community, and innovation has allowed us to serve Albuquerque and our surrounding areas for more than 50 years. We are proud to partner with New Mexico United.
Because both of us believe in the values of loyalty, service, and togetherness.
Our longevity and growth is because we are united.
Somos unidos.
Flamenco is a language. Every step a verse, every movement a phrase. Born in Spain and expressed here in New Mexico.
Dime que sí, dime que no. Anda, dime primita de mi corazón.
The 2023 summer concert season is here at Sandia Resort and Casino. Join us this summer at Albuquerque's best concert venue for a season to remember. June 23rd, Ludacris. July 20th, Old Dominion. July 28th, Buddy Guy and Kenny Wayne Shepherd. Tickets available now at sandiacasino.com or the box office. The 2023 summer concert season at Sandia Resort and Casino. Close to home, far from ordinary.
Part desert, part mountain, part river. Albuquerque offers outdoor exhilaration you can't find anywhere else. Spend the perfect day hiking, biking, or even hot air ballooning, all within minutes of a vibrant city. Whether you're exploring hundreds of miles of trails or hundreds of years of history, Albuquerque will take your breath away. Start planning your Albuquerque adventure at visitabq.org.
Halftime here at the Lab. Your score 1-1 between New Mexico United and Indy 11. Halftime brought to you by Smith's, fresh for everyone. And Chris, we've got plenty to get into here tonight, so let's just dive right into it, starting off first with a look at our standings. Coming into this one here tonight, New Mexico on the outside looking in 10th place, 4 points off of the playoff spots. They've got some work to do.
Yeah, got some work to do, and it does really start tonight as well. We talked about it in the pre-game. Not do or die at this moment, but it's getting pretty close to that moment. The West is so crazy. No one's really putting a run together to kick them out of the playoffs, so it's up to them to take that chance that they've been given.
And as we're going to see here in just a moment, the schedule does not get any easier for the black and yellow. On to our news and notes here from around the league. As the USL highlighting Mental Health Awareness Week. Need support? Call 988 for mental health services. Orange County announcing the transfer of their leading scorer, Milan Alaski, being transferred out to a club in Denmark. Not even going to try to pronounce that. And that is effective as of January. So that'll happen during the winter transfer window. And then the USL Championship playoff updates clubs to clinch a spot so far. Pittsburgh, Tampa, and Charleston. With a trip to Pittsburgh still on the horizon for the black and yellow. Look here at the schedule. Coming up, as you see, RGV going to be hosting Birmingham Legion, Miami hosting Louisville, New Mexico hitting the road to take on Sac Republic, and then just 3 days later across the country doing the top of the conference double there in 4 days.
Yeah, and not only just the top of the conference, but the travel from West Coast to East Coast. That is going to be a very difficult trip to manage for the staff.
Indy will be back home to face Phoenix Rising on the 20th. Looking at our scores now from around the league. As you see, that was on Sunday. Birmingham Legion putting one past New Mexico United. It was the two former United players, Nico Brett, Preston Tabordataka, linking up for that game-winning goal. Lights putting 3 past Oakland Roots. Switchbacks 1-1 draw with defending champs San Antonio. Orange County and El Paso playing a scoreless 90 minutes. Upcoming schedule, as we touched on, for New Mexico. Trips out to the tops of the conference on the horizon. Sac Republic, then Pittsburgh. Then, Chris, we're back here to face another Eastern Conference playoff club, Louisville City. That's going to be the first time they're coming out to the Lab. Then the trip out to Phoenix Rising, where they'll take on their rivals out at 38th and Washington. And then closing things out, it's going to be on Friday the 13th at home here against Memphis 901, another playoff team from the Eastern Conference. And so from here on out, it's pretty much the playoffs for the black and yellow.
Yeah, and 6 of the 6 games, 4 against Eastern Conference, a very unusual end to the season.
For Indy 11, this is what it looks like going down the home stretch. A trip out to 38th and Washington to take on Phoenix Rising, then back home to face RGV. They'll also host Detroit City, Le Rouge making the trip out. And they'll face Philip Goodrum and FC Tulsa, and then closing things out on the final match day of the season at defending league champion San Antonio FC at Toyota Stadium. Now, quick look at our eFootball Player of the Week. Cal Jennings, your Player of the Week. This is our Team of the Week. James Musa in there getting the nod. Herrera, your goalkeeper from Monterey Bay. More halftime coming up here at the Lab. We'll step aside. We'll be back in just a moment.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Halftime here at the Lab. 1-1 your score presented by First Financial Credit Union. And Chris, let's have a look at these first half highlights brought to you by the guys at Ferguson Law Firm. We're here for you, and we're here to win. And it started off in the 10th minute. Sebastian Guenzati scoring his 10th goal of the season.
Yeah, and what an instinctive finish it was as well. It was 4 New Mexico United players around the ball, and he's got his back to goal, and he just kind of flicks a foot out at it. He knows exactly what he's doing. Finds the bottom corner. You can see he's just getting dragged down by Nicky Hernandez. Just guides the ball. What a, like I say, really instinctive, very, very clever finish.
So the captain adding to his tally here so far, and then looked like he was on for a brace, draws the penalty kick, as we'll see here, and then when he steps up to the spot, Andrew Thomas, big as ever.
Yeah, there's like an unwritten rule in soccer where if you win a PK, you don't necessarily take it. I don't know what the stats are to back that up, but people tend to say that. And see, Thomas, he just guesses the right way and you make your own luck. But this is probably what New Mexico United deserved. They were playing in just like a low block, just waiting for Indy 11 to play a pass that they wanted to. And then as soon as it happened, I think it was Nicky Hernandez triggered the press. Moreno won the ball, played it Hernandez. Hernandez puts the perfect ball to Rivas with the perfect weight on the pass, so he doesn't even need to take a touch. That means that the keeper can't get his feet set. Good finish by Rivas.
7th goal of the season for number 7, Sergio Rivas. So we have a look at our first half stats brought to you by Duke City Cares, your medical family. And we see the possession pretty much split right down the middle. Both teams 3 shots on target. Yeah, a few yellow cards issued so far.
Yeah, and you've got a feeling it's a bit tasty that first half. There's some bad blood out there, and you know, maybe it's so many former West Coast players who play for Indy 11, former El Paso. I don't know what it is, but there's definitely an atmosphere. Maybe it's just the desperation of New Mexico United, you know, knowing how big a game this is. But there's a definite edge to the game in that first half.
We'll step aside. We'll be back with the final 45 here at the Lab. You're watching ESPN Plus.
National Roofing, serving New Mexico for over 45 years. From complete re-roofs to our 24/7 service department, let us help protect and extend the life of your roof today. We work with you every step of the way to solve your roofing needs quickly and professionally. Our team of roofers are always on top of it, bringing high-quality commercial roofing to New Mexico homeowners. National Roofing, local company, national name. Call 505-883-3000 or go to nationalroofing.com to schedule a roof walk today.
Well, folks, it's only 8 a.m. and it's going to be another hot one. Today's high is 85 degrees with lows ranging in the upper 50s. Tomorrow's more of the same, plus some light wind coming in from the northeast. Coming up at 8:30, Paul's got an exclusive
Babe, it's 8 a.m.
Fried chicken, better with Pepsi.
The estimated hold time is now 96 minutes.
Sorry, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, please hold.
The C&M beverage program is split into actually 4 disciplines: beer production, wine production, distilled spirits production, and beverage management. This program is for anyone that has a passion for the beverage industry. We are running a 100% employment rate, and the goal is to prepare all of our students to enter into the workforce in their chosen field in the beverage production industry. If you're a fan of spirits, beer, wine, this is for you. So enroll now.
Back here at the lab, it's Hispanic Heritage Night. Tyler Ortega on hand alongside Chris Hurst. And Chris, this one was an action-packed first half. 1-1 our score. It was Guenzati and Rivas both finding the back of the net for their respective sides. Now, things sort of shifted there towards the end of the first half. New Mexico able to get the equalizer in the 44th minute. How does that change the team talks going in?
Yeah, I mean, I actually don't think it maybe obviously being parity helps.
Sure.
But I'm not sure it changed because I think the performance was probably what they were looking for. There was the mistake from a set piece, which cost the goal, mistake for the PK, which was rectified. Other than that, it's been a decent performance by New Mexico United. So I don't think necessarily that changed it a whole lot. I think, and I'm conflicted with the emotions. Part of me wants to say, control your emotions. But the other thing is, feeding off your emotions, because clearly there's an urgency with New Mexico United tonight that the crowd are just lapping up as well. Like I say, there's still that buzz in the stadium as well, so you kind of want to feed off it, but you don't want it to bubble over either.
And on the other side, if you're Mark Lowry, your side concedes a goal in the 44th minute, and not just that, but New Mexico over the final 15 minutes, over 50% of the action was in the Indy third.
Yeah, and you could tell, like, Indy were, I think we said it on the broadcast, right, where they were just struggling to get out for large periods. They did look very dangerous on the break. And, clearly that's a plan that they're going to employ tonight. And you've got to imagine that there's going to be more of the same here in the second half. But first 10, 15 minutes, New Mexico United were really struggling with the numbers in midfield. Once they worked that out and got their block sorted and got their 5 guys in midfield like matching up numbers-wise, the 11 really struggled to get out, and then it was more of a could they break that initial press and get beyond that first line. Then they were in business because they have so much speed and power going forwards. They're always going to be dangerous, and they're going to carry that threat throughout the second half as well.
Second 45 coming up here. Schneider Borgelin in the center circle. Just 5 passes for him in the first half. Did see him get a little involved. I'm sure he'd like to get much more involved here as we are underway. New Mexico United hosting Indy 11 for the first time here tonight, and the first 45 were a lot of fun, so buckle up. Early on, Moreno, and he's going to be called for offside as the black and yellow looked as though they were off to the races.
And that's that game of cat and mouse we said early on as well. The outside backs for Dambrot and Rebaillon for Indy 11, they've been flying forwards. They really create the width because of the narrow diamond that they're playing in that 4-4-2, so they create the width. And it's that game of cat and mouse. Armando Moreno can fly when he wants to, so Rebaillon really has to decide when to go and when to stay, because that was another opportunity. Yes, he was caught offside, but Armando Moreno lives in those spaces that defenders leave behind them.
Leon. Guenzati. Looked as though for a moment Bailey was going to be able to intercept that one.
Yeah, you can see New Mexico United nearly did it again. It was Zico Bailey was the trigger that time, and Armando Moreno was just caught on his heels a little bit. He didn't realise they were going to go, so he just got there split second too late, so they weren't able to nick the ball. They were in the 11, got the ball into Asante and then broke. But yeah, that crossfield pass, dangerous pass to play in across the midfield there. It was nearly picked off by Zico Bailey, but you can see what New Mexico United are trying to do. Now it's up to Indy 11. Can they break that press? Can they play in the spaces behind? So maybe it's Velasquez playing off shoulders or playing the ball into Pino a little earlier so they can get beyond New Mexico United's initial press.
Rebaillon next with Solomon Asante. And Pino
Going to be called for the foul as he was dragging down Will Seymour. Seymour with the 1 goal this season. Came in the dying moments. That 6-goal shootout against Las Vegas Lights that we had just a few weeks ago.
If you're only going to score 1 in a season, it might as well be that. It was a great finish. Scored like a true winger, cutting in off the left-hand side and just bending it in the bottom corner.
Had to have been watching the Austin Yearwood tape. Going here for New Mexico. Can't watch the match? Turn on SiriusXM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access. That's on Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. Plus, you can hear live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more, all on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SXM app. And actually, this match is one of those that's being picked up on SiriusXM FC tonight. Zico Bailey plays this cross in, punched away by Trilk. Balls back to Hernandez. Headed away. So Bank of America corner kick coming up here for New Mexico.
There's a little lapse in communication there. I think it was Rebayon was going up for the header as well, and it was Asante of all people jumping highest and just taking the ball off his head and just knocking it away. He was going the wrong direction, so knocked it out for a corner.
Justin Portillo. Portillo's corner does not beat the first man. It's all the way back out to subs. And he's looking to pick out Moreno with the long ball.
That battle on Indy 11's right-hand side and New Mexico United's left-hand side, Moreno, Rebayon, Asante, Josh Suggs. It's a really interesting little battle there because, again, and Rebayon came up on top that time, just used his body just to shield Moreno away from where he wanted to go and gave Trout time to collect the ball. But, yeah, it's a really fascinating battle down there.
Solomon Asante over 50 appearances already in his Indy 11 career, spanning just the past couple of seasons. What a turn from Hernandez. Here's Hernandez. Cross not there for Nicky Hernandez. He picked up his 2nd assist of the season earlier on that goal by Sergio Rivas.
Speaking of a little rush of adrenaline, we mentioned it earlier as well. That little turn, he just did a little drop of the shoulder, didn't touch the ball at all. I think it was Disby. He sent him for a hot dog. Just completely lost his feet because Bort on the fake that he was going to pass the ball, and he was off to the races. And yeah, again, he was trying to. New Mexico United didn't have great numbers in the middle, so he felt like he had to get a ton of pace on the cross and just miss-hit it.
Here's Borgelin. He's through. And Borgelin, and it looks like it eventually just trickles out of play. Borgelin, Jerome were both there. Moreno also joining in on the fun. As we'll have a look at this TLC replay here. And wow, how unlucky there for New Mexico.
Yeah, and you can just say, at first I thought that maybe Moreno had saved it off the line from the angle that we have, but you can see clearly on there it was going wide and he was trying to stop it from going out for a goal kick. But that's the first time we've really seen Borgelin get in behind and use his strength there, and he's got such long legs there as well. Jerome probably thought he had it all under control and just used his gait essentially to be able to wrap a foot around it, and almost paid off.
Asante and Lindley linking up there.
You see that's the first time where Indy 11 have gone, short to their centre back, and then they've just skipped the line and they've just gone straight into their attacking players and tried to get the ball as far forward as they can, as early as they can. So either that's something that they've talked about at half time, or they've just decided we can't get out, so we're gonna play that way. Because you see, really early on, it's all New Mexico United asking the questions again.
Blake able to link up with Dambrot. This will be a throw in here for New Mexico. Portillo goes back to Ryden. Looking for the run of Zico Bailey there. Indy now quickly looking to counter. That ball under hit right to Kalen Ryden. Here comes Moreno. Moreno was looking for Bailey. It falls to Borgelin. You can tell he's just getting a little frustrated there as the big man. Battling that Sam Hamilton. New Mexico able to retain possession. Fans, we are united in health. Join New Mexico United in our efforts to create a healthier and more vibrant New Mexico at unitedinhealthnm.com. Here's Rivas, the goal scorer. Links up with Moreno. Moreno eventually lays it off to Suggs. Cross goes in. It's headed out. It's going to be a corner kick for New Mexico.
You always say it's one of those rules in sport where you've got to score when you're on top, right? And this is a period where New Mexico United can't be denied they're definitely on top. Territorially, they're not necessarily creating a ton of chances. There's a few half chances here and there, but Lowry's got some questions to answer right now, whether he makes a change or is he happy just kind of sitting in and trying to see if Indy 11 can catch New Mexico United on the break.
Look to have missed everybody there. Goal kick. Tim Trilk. Trilk, the 25-year-old, 9th appearance here tonight. Made 16 appearances for Indy 11 last season. Prior to that, spent some time in USL League One with Chattanooga Red Wolves. Pino eventually draws the foul. Yes, auto free kick coming up.
That's a pretty stingy defense Indy 11 have had this year. It's the 5th best in the whole USL Championship, and New Mexico United, unfortunately, the 5th worst so far this season as well. So you wouldn't think it so far tonight. Like I say, New Mexico United have stood firm. It's that one big mistake on the set piece very early on where the goal came from. But again, you've got to put a little bit of that was down to just the creativity of Manzati, where he was able to finish that. What a goal that was.
Off the free kick here. Dispe went to ground, but no call.
New Mexico United very, very comfortable in possession there. There was a split second where it looked like Indy 11 had got their press very right there.
Hamilton. Just nobody there at the ends of these crosses here tonight.
Fortunately, it was Moreno, Borgelin and Hernandez had all anticipated a ball in that little corridor between the goalkeeper and the defenders. Unfortunately, Hamilton put it behind them. So everyone just running beyond and ended up some glances in his direction. But again, New Mexico United really comfortable. That started from a goal kick, and rather than just booting it up the field, possession with a purpose, breaking lines, comfortable on the ball. It's a risk. It's a risk we all think, but once they broke that initial press, you could see that they had numbers and they had space to potentially pick a very dangerous ball. They just picked the wrong one.
Borgelin giving chase to this one. So for Indy 11, they've been able to avoid defeat in their last 13 matches when they score the opener. That goes all the way back to July 31st, 2022. They scored the opener against Tampa Bay, and then the Rowdies able to score 3 straight to finish that one. So New Mexico will look to break that 13-match streak here tonight.
And Indy 11, they're on decent form. 6 undefeated. Their last loss was all the way back August 9th against Memphis.
Moreno plays this one across and nobody home. And for a moment, it looked as though Dispe might have hit an own goal, but what a clearance.
I don't know if that was an optical illusion or not, but I thought Dispe hit it off the post. At least from the angle I was at there, and he just looked so calm doing it as well. Wow.
And he does. And so we're here, what is 59th minute. Going back to the last time these two teams played, Mishak Jerome scored an own goal in the 63rd minute. It's a funny game.
You can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to play that out for a corner there, and I'm sure his heart was in his mouth as soon as he got just a little bit better connection than what he thought on it, or than what he wanted on it.
And Dispe, he's able to climb the ladder and make the initial clearance.
That's the second time tonight New Mexico United have hit the woodwork. So again, they're asking questions, and here's that man that we talked about. We haven't really said much about him, hasn't really had too much involvement, but he doesn't need many chances.
Velasquez took the touch off of Quinzati. Right over to Andrew Thomas. Yeah, and for Solomon Asante, obviously he scored a lot of goals from the penalty spot during his time in Phoenix. That's a fact. And so you have a lot of goal scorers and one side, it's tough to decide who takes these penalties. And we saw Guinzati step up tonight. He was denied. Indy, they've won 8 penalties this season. No other side has won more in the championship. But with just 1 goal to his name this season, Solomon Asante, I feel like could take a couple of those from the spot and really find some form.
And he's playing a little different position to what maybe we were used to when we saw him play for Phoenix Rising. He's, like I say, this formation here with a 4-4-2 diamond, just a little more narrow, creating that space for Rebaillon to bomb on from right back there. And you can see how narrow he is there. There he is on the ball in around the centre circle. And Phoenix Rising, you see him more as a forward, the winger, the attacking the wide forward for them, where just isolated against outside backs and just terrorising them. But Indy 11, a hard team to beat on the road as well. Their last away defeat was all the way back on July 29th. Well, it's been, and so it's 4 games, the last 4 games they've managed to find a way. So they've found a formula away from home to be very, very competitive as well.
And that's typically what we've come to expect from these Mark Lowry coach teams. Finds Hernandez. So we mentioned Nicky Hernandez picking up his 2nd assist of this season here tonight. His first one came just 2 minutes into his New Mexico United career down in El Paso. Back on July 1st, where he assisted Santi Moar's game-winning goal. Foul called against the 11, so a free kick coming up here for New Mexico.
That was a great defending there by Simo. You can see he cuts inside, and Dambrot, I believe, cuts inside and actually is completely done Seymour. And Seymour just steps across his line and just draws the foul there. And we've seen that many, many times. Seymour using his experience, being able to do that there. But you can see New Mexico United very confident. And again, it's a risk. And they managed to get out just a few moments ago. And it was just Nicky Hernandez's first touch just let him down. Otherwise, they were out again. And they've done it again. They found a way to play through the lines and through this Indy 11 press. And now it's, can they get the final piece right?
Suggs decides against playing the through ball for Moreno instead. Picks out Zico Bailey here on the near side. Through ball from Bailey, and Trilk had that one covered. Tim Trilk, he's been busy tonight.
Yeah, he certainly has, and you can see he's, early on there was a save that bounced in front of him and he pushed it away from danger, and there's a couple of times he's elected to punch rather than catch as well, but he always gets it far enough away from danger where Indy 11 are able to regroup and get numbers behind the ball. So I've been really impressed with the way he's commanded his 18-yard box.
Good idea there from Moreno. Rebellon able to take that one away. Asante. Here's Blake, the Englishman. Blake able to draw the foul. Quickly taken, Dambrot. It's Velasquez. This one comes into Dambrot, and this could be trouble, and eventually New Mexico able to clear that one away. Links up with Rivas, finds Bailey, and Hernandez has acres of space. Here's Nicky Hernandez, cuts inside. Hernandez sneaks it in the back post. New Mexico takes the lead. It's the third goal of the season for Nicky Hernandez, and he's going to hit the dance, Chris.
It's right. I think he's actually hurt himself scoring the goal there. There's a question of offside as well. That's what the Indy 11 players are looking across at the AR on the near side there, hoping it was close. It's hard to tell from the angle that we have, but as it was building up, you could just see he was in acres of space. I was pointing towards in that direction. It's completely unmarked, and he just cuts inside and strokes the ball home with his left foot, and it seems so calm in the way he was doing it, but you can see he's hurt himself. I don't know if it's cramp. Let's hope it's nothing more sinister than that.
Hernandez here on this TLC replay. Perfectly taken. Third of the season for the mid-season edition, Nicky Hernandez. There's the dance. And he hasn't been here in black and yellow very long, about 2.5 months maybe, but he has quickly become a fan favorite.
Yeah, and like I say, he's the perfect Mexico United player. It's that, I believe it is. It looks like his calves are maybe cramping a little bit. He's just gone down again after the game started, so a little bit of gamesmanship as well. I wonder if they'll stop the game for this one. But and he's just the perfect player. Like I said, the amount of work rate he gets to it, and he's got that edge as well. You know, that tackle, we said he got a little bit lucky in the first half. It was a bit of a naughty tackle as well, but he's got that edge where I think that's why New Mexico United, it's not just the pretty stuff, he's willing to do the graft as well.
For Zico Bailey, he also picks up his third assist of the season, his second since joining the black and yellow. And so he's essentially found a new lease on life here since joining this Eric Quill side. Hernandez goes down again, and so that's going to see Carlos Olivas, the director of sports medicine, out onto the pitch to check on the goal scorer. So we were just saying minutes ago, it had been over a year since Indy had scored the opener and hadn't walked away with at least a point. Sounds like we're going to be seeing some subs here for New Mexico. So it looks like Nicky Hernandez's night is done. said it there, Chris. You can see him just massaging his calf. But a look down at the supporter section. That's La Maldición having some fun out there tonight. We got to take one of these matches off and go hang out with those guys.
Sign me up.
So the substitutions starting to roll in here. And so it's going to be Jacobo Reyes. He'll replace Nicky Hernandez. Is the last thing Nicky Hernandez does before seeing himself on into the weekend is put New Mexico United up in the 64th minute. Substitution brought to you by REDW CPAs and Advisors. There's no substitution for integrity. Rebellon. Suggs wins the header, wins the foul. Here, we're going to see the change now. Jesus Vasquez will replace Stefano Pino. The Brazilian's night is done for Jesus Vasquez, the 28-year-old. Spent the last couple seasons in Indy. Spent half the season last year down in RGV. Prior to that, played for Los Dos. Spent some time in the second division in Mexico.
It's just a little tweak in formation for Lowry here as well. It looks like maybe a 3-5-2 that they've gone to. Everyone was waving at Rebellon to let him know that maybe he was going to play a little higher, playing that wing back role rather than the straight up right back that he's been playing so far tonight.
'70th minute here at the lab, and the 70th minute brought to you by REDW, an Albuquerque-based CPA firm celebrating 70 years of keeping New Mexico moving forward. This one's been a lot of fun here tonight, Chris. It's not official, but as we said, from here on out, the black and yellow fighting for their playoff lives, and the remaining schedule all against playoff teams. So you can effectively say the playoffs, they're starting now.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, maybe that's a positive. There's something needed to change. So the desperation, again, we spoke about it early on in the first half. There was a definite sense of the energy and the intensity of New Mexico United tonight. It did seem like a team that was very desperate to put on a performance and hope that the points followed that.
For Indy, it's been a long time since they've attempted a shot. You got to go all the way back to the 30th minute. So New Mexico, defensively, they've really buckled down. This is Blake, unleashes one. Goes over the crossbar. They're going to say it got a touch off of Andrew Thomas. And so Bank of America corner kick coming up here for the visitors.
I think it was actually Portillo. I don't think Thomas, although it was a a TV save. I don't think he actually got anywhere near it. It was a touch from a defender early on, a little nick, and I do think it took that deflection as well. Maybe Portillo. You can see, yeah, it just takes that little, or maybe even Josh Suggs, but just flies over the bar there. But you can see the picture's just changed, so it's a little harder for New Mexico United to play out. And they're struggling with the different numbers again. We keep talking about the numbers in midfield. It's changed again for them with the little tweak that Lowry's made in the formation, and they've got to adjust to that in the coming minutes here.
Moreno, he sees the keeper off his line, and Moreno unable to connect with that one. As quick as the opportunity came, it went there, Chris.
Yeah, you can see what he was trying to do. I mean, it would have been an amazing goal. It would have been one for Sports Centre if it had come off. But again, it was on the break, and again, New Mexico United just breaking that press early on and finding those little pockets. And Moreno's been an outlet for New Mexico United for the entire evening. How much they missed him last week against Birmingham Legion.
Vasquez goes back to Dispe, and we'll go back to Trill. Cannes National Suicide Prevention Week is September 10th through September 16th. To support the mental health of our communities, the USL has partnered with the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Need support? Call or text 988 now. You are not alone. There's Solomon Asante. Mexico now. They're going to go back the other way. Some quick feet there shown by Zico Bailey. Here's Rivas. Moreno now. He's got options at the back post. Hamilton able to get a touch. There's Reyes, the substitute. Goes out to Hamilton. Portillo taken down. Foul called on Solomon Asante, and it's going to be a Fiesta Auto free kick.
That's been the second cynical foul that Solomon Asante's done so far tonight. He's going to be lucky to get away with it. If he doesn't even look like the rest, maybe even going to talk to him, but it seemed like it was pretty cynical.
Dangerous free kick here for New Mexico. Portillo set this one up. Got Portillo and Suggs both standing over it. Suggs the lefty, Portillo the righty. Portillo unable to connect there.
He was almost caught in two minds. He didn't know whether to cross it or take a shot, so it ended up being a little bit of neither. Maybe he was just trying to hit it and hope for a little deflection, so put a bunch of pace on it. But yeah, disappointing free kick in a very dangerous area, that.
The USL is celebrating Hispanic Latino Heritage Month with stories, events, and more. Bringing to life this special celebration across the league. Go to uslsoccer.com/Hispanic-heritage to learn more. And obviously, being here in New Mexico, Chris, the Latino influence is undeniable. And throughout what you see through so much what the club does. Even as far as, just being here in stadium, obviously the fans that are watching on TV aren't have any idea, but this is one of the only places that does, Moreno blasts this one just wide. It's one of the only places that does English and Spanish public address announcements, English and Spanish broadcasts. Obviously the club motto is Somos Unidos, which is Spanish for We Are United, and so it's plays a very big part in our culture here down in the 505. Velázquez Miscommunication there with Cam Lindley. Rebellon, Velasquez. And that one poked away by Reyes. Jacobo Reyes. He's going to have to hit the brakes. He does. He's quickly double teamed. He's got support in Borgelin. Reyes gives the ball away.
I think he was begging that the defenders get him out of jail there a little bit because he ran out of options. Like you say, double teamed in the corner. Didn't really have anywhere to go. Tried to buy a free kick. Referee wasn't buying it though.
Sante finds Velasquez.
So the last 5 minutes or so, New Mexico United just getting a little deeper. And this is why you can sense a little nervousness in the crowd as well. You don't want Mexico to just sit on this 1-goal lead. I know the crowd would love for them to try and go get that insurance goal.
Rebellon takes a touch, deflection, poked away by Will Seymour. Rebellon trying to work his way around Lindley. Kickoff delayed by an hour here tonight, but that did not stop the party from raging on. Over 8,500 here in attendance tonight. Solomon Asante looking to find Guenzati. He goes down. No, says the official. Guenzati is going to go over and have an appeal. Didn't see a whole lot there.
Nah, I mean, yeah. I don't think you can buy two in the same game. It was, yeah, I don't. It was asking a lot there. It was maybe a little clumsy at most, but both players, eyes on the ball, more for coming together more than anything else.
Here's Blake. Velasquez. Dambrot has that one blocked by Kalen Ryden. It falls to Asante. Ryden is still down. Asante. Blocked by Portillo, and eventually Velasquez sends this one up into section 120.
Kalen Ryden peeled himself up off the turf because, you know, the attack, and this time you don't play him in the 11 at all. That in and around the 18-yard box, they have to play through that as well and force that man Asante. But last 10-15 minutes, you can see how much possession and how much urgency Indy 11 have had, but you just wonder why that wasn't from maybe the start of the second half, because that goal from Nicky Hernandez was coming. It's a sore one for Kalen Ryden.
Ryden still down there in the 18-yard box. Did see a couple of subs come on for Indy. We'll work on getting that for you. Looked like Harrison Robledo was one of them. So, a goal kick here for Andrew Thomas. Robledo on to replace Jack Blake. Vasquez. Chase there, and that one's played out, and we're hearing there's going to be some subs coming in, and indeed they are. These substitutions brought to you by REDW, CPAs, and advisors. There's no substitution for integrity. And so it's going to be the Englishman Daniel Bruce and the Scotsman Greg Hurst. So Borgelin, his night is done. Back from international duty. 83 minutes in the books. Same thing for Armando Moreno. What do you think about those subs there, Chris?
I can see the Borgelin one for sure. He's really struggled to impact the game, unfortunately, tonight. You've got to imagine the Armando Moreno one is purely with the games upcoming in mind. It's a risk because you saw how much energy he put in just to win a throw in off Trilk there, forcing him into kicking the ball out of play. So that's a risk because Armando Moreno was still causing all kinds of issues. But the energy of Daniel Bruce, I'm sure they hope that energy kind of makes up for what they lost with Moreno going off the field.
This one deflects. Hurst, can he get on the end of it? Trilk comes through, and the official points at the penalty spot. A yellow card shown to Tim Trilk, and New Mexico with the opportunity to go up 3-1 here in the 84th minute.
And you can see Hurst knew exactly what he was doing there. He knew he just had to get a touch, and all the Indy 11 players are pointing to exactly where Greg Hurst put the ball, which was around the goalkeeper. It was a risk. Trilk came flying off his line, and you always worry when there's a somewhat controversial PK in a game that there's going to be a make-up, and you can see there Greg Hurst gets to the ball first, and Trilk, whether he gets a little bit of the ball or not, it's hard to see from that angle, but he gets a lot of the man, and you can understand why the referees pointed to the penalty spot.
Gonzati Velasquez asking questions there of the AR on the near side. And so this a big opportunity for New Mexico United, and I may be wrong. I have to go back and double check my notes here, but I think the last time New Mexico had a penalty kick was in their very first match of the season.
Against Miami?
Against Miami. It was a 1-0 win, and it was the Iceman Justin Portillo.
Keep your phone in your hand. I'm sure someone's going to fact check you on that one.
That's fine. welcome all fact checkers. And so just some confirmation on those subs that came in earlier. It was Roberto Molina coming in to replace Robbie Dambrot. Harrison Robledo replacing Jack Blake. And obviously we told you about Moreno Borgelin heading off, being replaced by Hurst and Bruce here for New Mexico. And so it is Portillo. 2 goals this season for Justin Portillo. 1 from the spot, 1 from a free kick. Portillo slots it home, and the Iceman has found the back of the net for the 3rd time this season. It's the 3rd goal for New Mexico tonight, and that is massive.
That's the insurance goal that everyone in the crowd here at the lab was hoping for, because it was getting a little nervy. Indy 11 were having a lot of the ball there, and I tell you what, high pressure situation, you want Justin Portillo in that situation. What a great PK that was. Bottom corner, and even if Trilk had gone the right direction, I don't think he would have saved it anyway.
And they call him the Iceman, and you see exactly why. As cool as the other side of the pillow as he slots this one home. And that should be the nail in the coffin for Mark Lowry's men here tonight.
I tell you what, go all the way back to that Thomas save from the PK in the first half. What a huge moment that was in the game. Indian 11 had gone up by 2 goals at that point. It seemed like it would have been a long way back for New Mexico United, but a huge, huge save by Thomas kept his team in the game, and then New Mexico United, once they got that 1 goal, really haven't looked back.
That was Mark Lowry. You gotta wonder what's going through his head right now. 87th minute here at the lab in front of 8,527 of the black and yellow faithful. Stuck around through an hour weather delay. Stuck around when their side went down in the 9th minute. Quinzati putting Indy up. And ironically, as I mentioned, it had been 13 consecutive matches that Indy had avoided defeat when they've scored the opener. The last time they lost was to Tampa. The scoreline that night, 3-1. Solomon Asante. Time still remains. Benzati. First able to connect with the captain, Sam Hamilton. Hamilton making his 102nd appearance for New Mexico United. Suggs plays this one out. It's going to be a corner kick for Indy.
Testament to Sam Hamilton as well, playing a position that he's not necessarily, you know, it's not his natural position outside back, and you can see he's winded a little bit right now, being asked to do the attacking role from outside back as well, but he's still putting the miles in this late on in the game.
There's Cam Lindley, former Switchbacks and San Antonio man, an in-swinger. Going here to the 11. Back to Solo. And a challenge there from Greg Hurst. Trill all the way up at the halfway line. Keepers want to have some fun too. Jim Dispe, the Cuban. 13 caps for the Cuban national team. Coming up here for New Mexico. Fans, eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. Free to play. Download now. I'll tell you what, Friday night match here. That means we've got the weekend off. So play me some eFootball.
You've got the weekend. us soccer people have a busy day tomorrow.
Fair enough. All right. So we're hearing there's going to be 5 minutes of New Mexico Pinon Coffee stoppage time. Great coffee is a matter of opinion. Sante called for the foul. A little bit later than normal for us here at the lab, and if you're an Indy 11 supporter, thanks for hanging out. Is it Bailey? The outside flag that had gone up. As I was saying, thanks to everyone tuned in. We know it is very late back there at home in Indy. It's approaching the midnight hour.
So just a special shout out here to Sergio Rivas. He's still just going about doing the hard miles in the midfield there as well. Just sprinted back into position after ending up on the goal line trying to score. Gets himself back into position on the midfield line. I might seeing his GPS tracker tonight to see how many miles he got through in the middle of the park.
Eric Quill. He's intense as ever, Eric Quill down there on that touchline. Daniel Bruce. Englishman has that one taken off of his feet. So Daniel Bruce making his 112th appearance here tonight for the black and yellow. He's the club leader in appearances, just ahead of Josh Suggs by 1. Suggs made his 111th appearance here tonight. So there for a while, they were even on 111 until Bruce appeared as a sub. Zadi on Asante. That blocked. Asante asking for a handball there on Suggs. Not going to get it. Great challenge there from Jacobo Reyes. About 90 seconds remain of the minimum allotted 5 minutes. Cross block there by Jacobo Reyes. Jacques Giron. Rebellon. Sante plays this one in, bouncing around, and they pulled one back. Indy have scored a second here with still 1 minute left in second half stoppage time.
There's that Vasquez there. Just popped out and you could feel it coming. It's almost like both teams, New Mexico United just assuming the full-time whistle was coming at some point pretty soon here, and it's going to make this last minute a little more nervy. You see, in the 11, they certainly haven't given up on this game.
3-2, and now New Mexico with some work to do here over the next couple of minutes to walk out of here with all 3 points. And as comfortable as everyone was just a few minutes ago after Portillo had converted his 4th straight penalty, on the edge of their seats now. Through ball. Just unable to keep that one in. That was Roberto Molina. Mexico will be in absolutely no hurry here. And that is the full-time whistle here at the Lab. New Mexico victorious over Indy 11 as they improve to 2-0-0 over Indy 11 all-time here. And Chris, a big victory for the black and yellow. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, massive win, and that's all that really matters. But I think on top of that, the performance tonight merited that win as well, which will really please the staff.
That's Sergio Rivas. He is your man of the match, brought to you by Pepsi. Scored his 7th goal of the season here tonight in the 44th minute. Moving on to our play of the match, it was Nicky Hernandez in the 65th minute where he was able to find the back of the net for the 3rd time this season. Play of the match is brought to you by Bud Light. Nicky Hernandez with 11 appearances so far in black and yellow. And then finally, our save of the match, Andrew Thomas, with perhaps the biggest save of his New Mexico United career. We've seen penalty saves from goalkeepers wearing orange so far in New Mexico United history. Andrew Thomas pulling off another one.
Yeah, and again, a huge turning point in the entire game. Momentum is a massive thing in soccer, and you got to say that save from Thomas really turned the tide for New Mexico tonight.
Your Duke City Cares final score, New Mexico 3, Indy 11-2. We'll step aside. We'll be back to wrap things up.
The estimated hold time is now 96 minutes.
Sorry, are you still there? Yes. Okay, please hold.
quality of Kroger brand products will make you feel like you're winning. For everyone.
Back here at the lab full time as New Mexico United have defeated Indy 11 3-2. Your Duke City Cares final score. And Chris, this one was a lot of fun. Let's have a look at how this one played out here tonight with a look at our full-time highlights brought to you by the guys over at Ferguson Law Firm. And it started off early. Sebastian Guenzati in just the 9th minute scoring his 10th goal of the season.
Yeah, Guenzati with a very instinctive finish, getting almost pulled down by Nicky Hernandez, I think it is. And he just flicks his foot at the ball, knows exactly what he's doing. Great angle from here. You can see he just guides it into the bottom corner. Again, really instinctive, very creative finish.
Yeah, and a true striker's goal there from Sebastian Guenzati. He is the leading scorer for this Indy 11 side. And then we just saw it. Andrew Thomas awarded with the save of the match tonight for this one. PK save.
Guenzati again, he was in amongst it tonight, and he drew the foul, let's say, for the PK, and ended up missing the PK. Great save by Thomas, big turning point of the game. And this was when New Mexico United were basically making Indy 11 do what they want, even when they didn't have the ball, and set the trap. Played it to Moreno. Moreno played to Hernandez. Hernandez, a great weighted pass into Rivas, and Rivas just slots it, I believe, through the legs of the goalkeeper. And this was another counter-attack where there was a question of offside, Nicky Hernandez, but that just cuts inside and he just picks his spot. You see him just have a little look up after he takes that touch, little look up, picks his spot, and with his left foot just buries it in the bottom corner.
Third goal of the season for Nicky Hernandez. Hits the dance while he's at it. And Justin Portillo steps up to the spot. The Iceman slotting it home for his third of the season. That was the third of the night for New Mexico. But that wasn't the last bit of the action. As Indy proved, they still had one more in them.
Yeah, and it was interesting that it was so late. It was too little, too late, and it was almost like New Mexico United had switched off right at the end of the game, and they'll be disappointed with that. I'm sure they'll talk about that as well. And you can see, we literally just talked about how Sam Hamilton had put so many miles in, playing in an unfamiliar position, and you can see he was just maybe a little dead on his feet at the end there. But I'm not saying he could do anything about that. But 3 defenders around the ball, you would hope that they would think that they would do a little better with it. But in the end, it didn't have any bearing on the game. So New Mexico United head out of here with 3 huge points.
3 huge points for the black and yellow. A quick look at our full-time stats brought to you by Duke City Cares, your medical family. And you can see Indy really dominated possession over that second half, Chris, but really it's what you're able to do with it.
Yeah, and that's what we've talked about with New Mexico United over the last few weeks, is they've had a lot of the ball and not really been able to create. New Mexico United on the other side of that with less possession, but more shots created from it.
And so that's going to do it for us here tonight. New Mexico hit the road for their next 2 as they're off to face top of the West Sac, then top of the East Pittsburgh. We'll be back here on September 30th for Indigenous Peoples Night. Louisville City making their first trip out to the lab. If you don't have your tickets, get on SeatGeek. Get those now. That's going to do it for us here tonight. For everybody part of our broadcast, our director Gary Williams, Chris Hurst on color. My name's Tyler Ortega. Thank you for watching.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.